And in Photoshop, we want to have our layer panel open. So if you don't see layers, it's over here on the buttons. If you don't see the buttons, we can always go up to a window and find layers there. Um, Everyone kind of likes their interface to look a little different. I think the most common setup is to have your history open, and you can maybe push that over here on your screen if you like. That way you can go back up to 20 steps if you make some mistakes. And your layers, of course, is really important. Okay, so if one of the first things that we want to do in this project is likely, unless you want to have a white background, you may want to start by just putting in a background color. So if we go up to Edit and Fill, you can see the hotkey there is Shift F5, and it's going to ask us what do we want to fill it with, and I'm going to choose Color. Okay, and I know for this one I wanted to do kind of a deep, kind of gray blue, and I'm going to choose that with my color picker, hit OK. And now you can't probably see the document because it's blending into the surrounding artboard, or the surrounding interface. So I'm actually going to really quickly here just change that so it's a little bit more separated from the background just for this demo. I'm just going to go a little bit lighter. There we go. That's better. Okay, so I think we've talked about this a lot this year in terms of like the blank canvas syndrome can be some of the most terrifying moments when we're starting a design and we're not sure where to begin. I think sometimes when I'm stuck, especially in graphic design, if I just get some type down on the poster, that's always a good way to start. So I'm going to go over to the type tool here, select it, and I'm going to click once. Okay, so remember, don't click and drag. Sometimes it's a habit to click and drag a text box. We actually just want to click once. We just get a blinking cursor. And now I'm going to go up to the size and choose 72 points. It's the biggest size you can select. But as we know, we can go much bigger. So if I want to start with the word distance, I'm going to use all caps and type distance. Yours probably defaulted to Myriad Pro. So if you look up here in the control panel, you'll see that I probably chose Myriad Pro for you, but I've got Futura. We know Futura because Barbara Kruger uses Futura, and she uses it for a reason, because it's a really effective display font, meaning on a big poster or a banner or something like on a billboard, you can see it and it reads very easily. It's a good font for communication. So I've got Futura, I've got it selected as bold, I'm using all caps, and now I'm going to head over to the move tool so that I can move this type around. And then I'm going to hit Control T, Command T if I'm on a Mac, get the bounding box around it, hold down Shift and stretch. And when I'm happy with the sizing, I'm going to hit Enter. Okay, so right now we have one piece of font, and you can see over in the layer panel that is now its own layer, and it's got a little capital T on it, which tells you this is a text layer. And a text layer can still be edited. You can still go in with the text tool and click anywhere, and you could delete things still. You can add things. What if I wanted to do a lowercase I? I could. So I'm still able to modify the type using typography. We'll get to this a little bit later as to like when that would change and why you would want to change that. But for now, I'll leave it as a type layer. The other thing to keep in mind is right now it's at a default spacing. And we've talked about this, that good graphic designers don't leave their letters in default spacing. They look at something called tracking, which if you highlight the word and you go up here to this little character panel, click it, you'll see this familiar character interface here, which we have in Illustrator. It's a little different in Photoshop, but it works the same. It's this little VA left to right arrow here. And if you slide it to the left a little bit, it's going to tighten the spacing between the letters. Okay, I like the look of that. All right, and let's do one more trick here before we just kind of pause and work on this for a little while. I'm going to double click to the right of the word distance. I'm in the layer panel here. I'm going to double click, and that's going to bring up the layer style panel. So in layer style, I'm able to go in and change the color anytime I need to on the text. And I do that by clicking on color overlay. And color overlay allows me to, and again, when you click this, click on the word. Don't click on this little checkbox here. Click on the actual word color overlay, and it'll check it and highlight it. And then you can go in and make your changes. So if I wanted it to be kind of a beige off white, I could do that. And I'm going to hit OK. And now I've changed my font. Sorry, I've changed my color. Okay, we'll stop there for now, and go and just try that. Just set up a document and put some type in, and play with the tracking. Try the different colors, move it around, change the size, and just sort of get used to that basic application in Photoshop. Good luck, everybody.